There is a side of trading that few people talk about. Not the charts, not the strategies, not the technicals everyone pretends will save them, but the mind behind the decisions, the emotions behind the impulses, the psychology behind every click, every hesitation, every moment of clarity or chaos. Most traders think they are fighting the market, but the real battle is inside them. This channel Mind Over Markets is where we explore that inner world, where we uncover the hidden patterns that shape your execution, where we dismantle the fears, the triggers, the beliefs, and the emotions that silently guide your performance. This is not entertainment. This is transformation, a journey inward into the psychology of discipline, the mechanics of emotional resilience, and the art of staying centered even when everything inside you feels unsteady. So take a breath, slow down, let the noise fade for a moment. You're not just listening to a video. You're stepping into a deeper understanding of yourself as a trader and as a human being. Welcome to your internal work. Welcome to your evolution. Welcome to Mind Over Markets. There are days when you wake up and before your feet even touch the floor, you already know something inside you is off. You feel it in the heaviness of your breath. You feel it in the quiet tension in your chest. You feel it in the way your thoughts begin to wander before the day has even started. Maybe yesterday was rough. Maybe life has been loud. Maybe your mind is carrying more weight than you want to admit. But today is one of those days, a bad day, the kind of day where your emotional energy is low, where nothing feels centered, where you feel slightly out of sync with yourself, with the world, with the markets, with everything. And yet somewhere inside you, there's a voice that whispers, you should trade. Maybe the market will fix this feeling. But deep down, you already know the truth. Bad days are the days when traders make their worst decisions. Not because the market changes, but because you change. On bad days, you don't trade the chart. You trade your mood. You trade your frustration. You trade your urge to feel better. Most people don't see it happening. They don't notice the emotional drift. They don't recognize the subtle impatience, the desire to force something, anything, just to regain a sense of control. But you're not here to trade like most people. You're here to learn how to navigate those days with clarity, with awareness, and with a ritual that brings you back to yourself. Because the market doesn't need you to be perfect, but it does need you to be present. And presence only happens when the mind is stable. Today we talk about the ritual before you trade. A ritual for the days when your energy is low, your emotions are loud, and your clarity is clouded. A ritual for cold starts on bad days. Because professional traders don't start the day by looking at charts. They start by looking inward. Before we begin the ritual, I want you to remember a simple truth and let it sink slowly. You are not your emotions. You are the observer of them. And this ritual is how you reclaim that role. Take a breath and let's begin. When your mind is foggy, when your emotions are unsettled, the first step is to reset your internal state. Not with force, not with discipline, but with awareness. Sit with yourself for a moment, not to escape the discomfort, but to understand it. Ask yourself quietly, what am I really feeling right now? Maybe it's frustration, maybe it's fear, maybe it's a sense of inadequacy after a losing day, maybe it's pressure from bills, responsibilities, expectations, or simply the weight of being human. Whatever it is, name it. The mind calms down when it feels heard. When you don't acknowledge your emotions, they don't disappear. They leak into your charts. They leak into your decisions. They leak into every keystroke you make. That's why the first part of the ritual is simple. Reset. Take a slow breath, then another. Let the noise settle, even if just for a moment. Tell yourself gently, I don't trade to feel better. I trade when I am clear. Let this sentence anchor you. Repeat it until your nervous system stops fighting you, because that sentence is the line that separates professional trading from emotional trading. Now we move to the second part of the ritual, a self-sentiment check. Before you look at a chart, before you open your platform, before you examine a single candle, examine yourself. Check 3 things: your mood, your energy, your clarity. Ask yourself, how is my mood today? Where is my energy level? How clear is my mind? If 2 of these 3 are below average, then you already know what a professional would do. They would either reduce position size more or not trade at all. Because on bad days, risk is not just in the market. Risk lives inside you. The market is not dangerous. Your mental state is. A trader with low clarity is a trader trading blind. A trader with low energy is a trader trading sloppy. A trader with a bad mood is a trader trading emotionally. Your internal environment is more important than the external one. That's why the self-sentiment check is essential. Because when you trade from a disturbed state, losing isn't the real problem. The real problem is that you don't even realize you're the one causing it. Now we move to the third part of the ritual. Expect nothing. Bad days tempt you to prove yourself, to make back what you've lost, to force your significance back into the world, to override discomfort through achievement. But trading never rewards emotional compensation. The market doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't care about your expectations. It doesn't care how badly you want to win. Expect nothing today. Don't expect to make money. Don't expect to catch a perfect move. Don't expect the market to soothe you, validate you, or fix you. Expect nothing, and you will not pressure yourself into forced trades. Tell yourself slowly, today I let the market do its part. I only do mine. Your job is not to predict. Your job is not to win. Your job is not to recover emotionally. Your job is simply to execute. When expectations fall away, decisions become cleaner. When pressure falls away, clarity returns. Now we move to the fourth part. Re-clarify your plan. Not the plan you wrote when you were feeling good, not the plan you followed in moments of strength, but the plan that remains valid even when emotions try to rewrite the rules. Write down the setups you trade, the entry conditions, the stop loss that is non-negotiable, the target that is based on probability, not hope. On bad days, simplicity is your shield. The more choices you have, the more likely your emotions will manipulate you. Limit the room for improvisation. Limit the room for creativity. Limit the room for emotional impulses. Because on bad days, even strong traders drift into randomness, not because they're undisciplined, but because their cognitive bandwidth is low. So refine your plan until it's simple enough that even your worst emotional state can follow it without deviation. Finally, we reach the fifth part, the protection rules. These rules are not for your strategy. They are for your psychology. On bad days, you must reduce your size, because small size protects your mind from panic attachment and overreaction. Lower size isn't a sign of fear. It's a sign of mastery. Place a limit on the number of trades, 1, maybe 2, never more. Because when your emotional system is fragile, decision fatigue hits faster, and every extra trade is a crack in your discipline. Most importantly, promise yourself one thing. If at any moment you feel the emotional pressure rising, stop, pause, step away for 5 minutes, not to escape, but to reset. You don't need to fight your emotions. You only need to interrupt them. Pain grows when you feed it, but it dissolves when you pause. Remember this truth. Bad days are not for winning. Bad days are for surviving. Trading is not about maximizing opportunity. It's about minimizing self-sabotage. because a single emotional mistake can undo weeks of disciplined work, but a single day of restraint can protect your entire future. And that's the real difference between amateur traders and professionals. Amateurs think a bad day is a threat. Professionals know a bad day is simply a day to scale down and stay safe. Your identity as a trader is not defined by your good days. Everyone trades well when they feel good. Everyone has clarity when life is calm. Everyone is patient when emotions are silent. Your identity as a trader is defined by who you are on the difficult days, on the restless days, on the heavy days, on the days when your emotions whisper louder than your logic. Strength is not built in comfort. Strength is built in restraint. A strong trader is not someone who always wins. A strong trader is someone who refuses to lose themselves. You are not weak for feeling off. You are not flawed for waking up unbalanced. You are not broken for needing a ritual. You are human. And the greatest traders in the world are masters not of strategy, but of self. There will always be bad days. There will always be mornings when your mind feels misaligned. There will always be moments when the weight of life bleeds into your decisions. But with the right ritual, you create distance between your emotions and your execution. And that distance is where your edge is born. So tomorrow, or the next time you wake up on the wrong side of yourself, remember this ritual. Reset your mind. Check your emotional levels. Expect nothing. Re-clarify your plan. Protect your capital and your psychology. And remind yourself, you don't need to conquer the market today. You only need to protect your future, because discipline on good days creates profits, but discipline on bad days creates careers. And you are building a career, a long, steady, resilient career, one that doesn't crumble on rough mornings, one that doesn't break under pressure, one that grows because you learn to master yourself first and the market second. You are capable of this. You are capable of navigating your inner storms. You are capable of showing up even on your hardest days, not perfectly, but intentionally. And that intention, that presence, that awareness is what will separate you from the masses. The market doesn't reward the smartest trader. It rewards the most stable one. So when your next bad day comes, remember this. You don't need to be at your best to trade well. You only need to be aware enough to protect yourself from your worst. This is your ritual, your shield, your reset, your edge, your way forward on the days when everything feels heavy. Carry it with you. Repeat it when needed. Make it a part of who you are, because bad days will come, but you will be ready. There is something traders rarely talk about, a quiet truth that sits beneath every chart, every position, every decision. A truth we all feel, but almost no one admits. On bad days, the real battle is not in the market. The real battle is inside you. The war between the part of you that wants clarity and the part of you that wants relief. The war between the part of you that wants to follow your plan and the part that wants to escape the discomfort of the moment. The war between your rational mind and your emotional mind. Most traders think they're fighting the market, but they're not. They're fighting themselves. And on the days when you feel mentally off, emotionally unstable, or energetically drained, this battle becomes louder, harder, and more dangerous. Because the market is not your enemy. Your thoughts are. Your impulses are. Your fear is. Your desire to fix yourself through tradings. Part 1 of this series was about your ritual, a structured path back to clarity, a way to protect yourself before you enter the arena. But Part 2 is about the arena itself. What happens inside you when you open the platform on a bad day? What happens when your mind wants to trade even though your clarity is compromised. What happens when you know what you should do, but everything inside you tries to push you in another direction? Today we go deeper into the inner war you face and how you win it. Take a breath and let your mind settle as we begin. On a bad day, the first enemy you face is impatience. Impatience whispers softly at first. Just take a quick trade. Just do something. Just enter. Maybe it will help reset your mood. It tempts you with the illusion of action because action feels like control. And on days when your emotional world feels chaotic, your mind desperately reaches for control. But impatience is not control. It is escape, the fastest way to lose yourself. On bad days, impatience grows faster, louder, and more seductive, not because the market has opportunity, but because you are uncomfortable in your own mind. If you've ever taken a trade you knew you shouldn't take, if you've ever clicked buy or sell just to feel something shift inside you, you already know this truth. Most impulsive trades are not decisions. They are emotional reflexes, a reaction to discomfort, a momentary exit from your internal tension, a way to avoid the reality that your mind is struggling. And this is where most traders fall, not because they lack skill, not because they lack intelligence, but because they never learned to sit with discomfort without acting on it. The more uncomfortable the mind becomes, the more it seeks relief. And trading becomes the perfect outlet. This is the first part of the inner war. The second enemy is expectation. Expectation is heavier than it seems. It shows up as pressure. Pressure to win. Pressure to recover. Pressure to prove something to yourself. Pressure to feel competent again. On bad days, expectation becomes toxic. It takes your natural desire to improve and turns it into a burden that weighs on every decision. You don't trade what the market offers. You trade what you want the market to give you. And that is the fastest path into emotional trading. Expectation blinds you. It creates tunnels in your thinking. You no longer see what is. You only see what you need. You stop responding. You start forcing. And forced trading is simply emotional trading in disguise. The third enemy is attachment. Attachment appears as hope, as fear, as the inability to accept uncertainty, as the desire to control outcomes you cannot control. On bad days, attachment grows stronger. It grips you. It makes you hold losers longer. It makes you move stops. It makes you convince yourself that this time will be different. Attachment creates emotional weight. The heavier the weight, the harder it is to think clearly. The fourth enemy is self-judgment. This one is subtle, but devastating. On bad days, every mistake feels bigger. Every hesitation feels like failure. Every small loss feels personal. And every decision becomes a reflection of your worth. You begin to judge yourself harshly. You begin to question your identity as a trader. You begin to doubt your future, your skill, your discipline. You begin to believe the voice that says you're not good enough. Self-judgment kills clarity. It kills confidence. It kills the calmness needed to execute well. And the worst part is, self-judgment doesn't wait for losses. It begins the moment your mood is off. Bad days amplify every crack in your psychology. But there is a reason we are talking about this, because awareness is the only antidote. You cannot defeat an enemy you cannot see. Once you see the inner war clearly, you can win it. So let's talk about how. The first step is acceptance, not resistance, not suppression, not denial. You cannot fight your emotional state, because the more you fight, the stronger it becomes. Anger grows when you push it away. Fear grows when you try to silence it. Frustration grows when you pretend it isn't there. On bad days, acceptance is strength. Acceptance is clarity. Acceptance is the doorway to self-control. Tell yourself gently, it's okay that I feel this way today, but I won't let this feeling run my decisions. You don't need to change your emotions. You only need to stop letting them carry you. The second step is observation. Observe your thoughts the way you would observe a candle forming on a chart, calmly, patiently, with curiosity instead of judgment. When impatience rises, observe it. When expectation builds, observe it. When attachment pulls you, observe it. When self-judgment whispers, observe it. Observation creates distance. Distance creates clarity. Clarity creates control. Most traders react to emotions. Professional traders watch them. They act on their plan, not their impulses. The third step is reduction. On bad days, your goal is not performance. Your goal is protection. Reduce your size, reduce your trades, reduce your targets, reduce your risk, reduce your expectations. A smaller position removes emotional weight. Less trading reduces decision fatigue. Lower targets reduce pressure. Reduced risk lowers the stakes. Reduction is not weakness. Reduction is intelligence. Reduction is self-awareness. Reduction is survival. And in trading, survival is the foundation of success. The fourth step is interruption. Every trader has emotional cycles, patterns that repeat, impulses that arrive on schedule, triggers that activate the same behaviors. On bad days, these cycles intensify, and the only way to stop them is to interrupt them. Not with discipline, not with force, but with a pause. A simple pause interrupts emotional momentum. It breaks the pattern. It gives your mind a moment to reset. Pause before you enter. Pause before you increase size. Pause before you revenge trade. Pause before you violate your plan. Pause before you place a trade that feels good but doesn't make sense. A pause is a reset button for your psychology. The fifth step is surrender, not to the market, not to the day, but to the reality that you are human, and humans have limits. Surrender means you allow yourself to step back without shame. Surrender means you accept that not every day is meant for performance. Surrender means you protect your capital and your mind, because you understand that long-term success matters more than short-term ego. Surrender is not quitting. Surrender is choosing wisdom over impulse. Surrender is what traders with longevity master. And now, after all of this, there is one final truth. You do not need to win the inner war every day. You only need to prevent your worst days from destroying your best days. A single emotional day can erase months of progress. A single moment of impulse can ignite a cascade of regret. A single lapse in judgment can reshape your account curve, but a single act of restraint can save your future. And that restraint is the real victory. So the next time you wake up on a bad day, the next time your mind feels heavy, the next time your emotions pull you toward reckless decisions, remember this: you are not judged by how you trade on your best days. You are defined by how you protect yourself on your worst. Bad days do not make you a bad trader, but how you respond to them, that's what determines your trajectory. You are capable of navigating these days. You are capable of stepping back when needed. You are capable of seeing through the fog of emotion. You are capable of winning the inner war, not by force, but by awareness, by intention, by presence, by choosing long-term identity over short-term impulse. The market is not won through aggression. It is won through stability, through patience, through emotional intelligence. And you are learning to master all of these. Carry this awareness. Return to these words when you feel lost. Let them remind you that every trader faces the inner war, but very few learn how to win it. You are becoming one of those few. This is your advantage, your edge, your path to resilience. And every time you choose awareness over impulse, you step closer to becoming the trader you were meant to be. Remember this on every bad day. You don't have to conquer the market. You only have to conquer the moment. There comes a moment in every trader's journey when confidence breaks. Not because they lack skill, not because they lack discipline, not because they lack understanding, but because trading has a way of exposing the parts of you that feel fragile, the parts of you that doubt, the parts of you that fear failure, the parts of you that quietly whisper, "What if I'm not enough?" A bad day can shake you. A losing streak can shake you even deeper. And sometimes it's not the loss itself that hurts the most, it's what the loss means to you. Today, part 4 is about rebuilding confidence. Not fake confidence, not motivational confidence, but real grounded, unshakable confidence, the kind that grows from awareness, from resilience, from understanding who you are when the market pushes you to the edge. If you find yourself doubting your abilities, if you've questioned your path, if you've ever stared at your screen and wondered whether you have what it takes, this is for you. Take a breath. Let the noise inside you settle. And let's begin. Confidence doesn't break on the losing day. Confidence breaks in the silence after the losing day. The moment when the charts are off and you're left alone with your thoughts. The moment when the loss stops being a number and starts becoming a story you tell yourself, "I messed up. I'm not improving. I'm not good at this. I should be further by now. Maybe I don't have what it takes." These thoughts are not reflections of reality. They are reflections of fear. Confidence breaks slowly, quietly through the stories you attach to your setbacks. A single loss says nothing about you, but the meaning you attach to that loss tells you everything about how you see yourself. So the first step in rebuilding confidence is simple. Detach the event from the identity. A loss is a moment, not a definition. A mistake is a behavior, not a character trait. A losing streak is a phase, not a prophecy. You rebuild confidence the moment you stop interpreting outcomes as judgments of your worth. The market is not evaluating you. It is simply reflecting probabilities. And probabilities have noise. The second step in rebuilding confidence is understanding the difference between outcomes and process. Most traders lose confidence because they confuse the two. They attach their self-belief to results they cannot control, results influenced by randomness, results shaped by forces beyond them. But confidence built on outcomes is fragile. It rises quickly but collapses just as fast. Real confidence comes from process, from knowing that you followed your plan, from knowing that your decisions were sound, from knowing that even if the outcome was negative, the behavior was correct. You don't rebuild confidence by trying to win. You rebuild confidence by returning to sound decisions, one intentional choice at a time. The third step is acceptance. Acceptance that losses happen. Acceptance that losing streaks happen. Acceptance that being human means fluctuating clarity and fluctuating emotions. Acceptance is not resignation. Acceptance is alignment with reality. It removes the resistance, the self-blame, the spirals of overthinking. Acceptance tells your nervous system, "I am safe. I am learning. I am not defined by this setback." Because the nervous system must settle before the mind can perform. The fourth step is reflection, but not the kind of reflection most traders do. Most traders reflect by judging themselves, by criticizing themselves, by replaying every mistake not to understand it, but to punish themselves for it. That is not reflection. That is self-harm disguised as analysis. True reflection asks different questions. What state was I in when I made this decision? What emotion influenced me today? What belief was activated during this streak? What did I avoid facing? What pattern inside me needs understanding, not shame? Reflection is not about finding fault, it's about finding truth. And truth is always healing. The fifth step is reconstruction. Confidence is not repaired, it is rebuilt, brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day. Reconstruction begins with the smallest possible wins, not financial wins, behavioral wins, getting up on time, reviewing your plan, taking the one setup you trust, skipping the trade you shouldn't take, stopping when you said you would, trading small, trading deliberately, trading consciously. Every small win is a signal to your mind, I can trust myself again. Confidence does not return through intensity, it returns through consistency. The sixth step is emotional neutrality. This is the part that separates growing traders from stagnant ones. After a losing streak, emotions are loud: fear, frustration, impatience, self-doubt, the urge to prove something. If you trade from these states, you trade from a deficit of clarity. The goal is not to feel confident before trading again. The goal is to feel neutral. Confidence is not the absence of fear. Confidence is the ability to act correctly, even in the presence of fear. Neutrality means you no longer trade to fix your emotions. You trade to follow your system. Neutrality is the soil where real confidence grows. The seventh step is future identity. Losing streaks shrink your sense of self. They make you think small. They make you forget who you're becoming. So pause for a moment and imagine the trader you ultimately want to be, not the trader who never loses. That trader doesn't exist, but the trader who handles losses with grace, the trader who learns, the trader who adapts, the trader who grows stronger through adversity, the trader who protects their capital and their mind, the trader who knows they are in this for the long game. When you align with your future identity, current setbacks lose their power. The eighth step is separation. Separating the facts from the feelings. The fact you had a losing streak. The feeling I'm failing. The fact you made mistakes. The feeling I'm not good enough. The fact you're struggling right now. The feeling maybe I'm not meant for this. Facts are neutral. Feelings are temporary. You rebuild confidence by returning to the facts. You lost, you learned, you adjust, you move forward. Nothing more, nothing less. The ninth step is remembering your resilience. Every trader who survives long enough to grow goes through this cycle. Doubt, discomfort, confusion, adaptation, strength. Your confidence is not measured by how you behave when things go well. Your confidence is measured by how you rebuild after things go wrong. Weak traders fear losing streaks. Strong traders transform through them. And now, the 10th step, the deepest step, the step that rebuilds confidence at its core, self-compassion. Not softness, not indulgence, not excuses. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same patience you would offer a student or a friend or someone you genuinely want to see succeed. Self-compassion lowers emotional volatility. It calms the nervous system. It brings back clarity. It removes shame. It restores self-worth. And a trader who feels worthy again can rebuild anything. Confidence is not about believing you will always win. Confidence is about knowing that even when you lose, you can recover, you can adapt, you can grow, you can rise. Confidence is not a feeling. It is a memory, the memory of every moment you've come back from difficulty. You have done it before, you will do it again. A losing streak does not diminish you. It reveals you. It shows you where you still need strength, where you still need clarity, where you still need understanding. Every setback is a signal. Every loss is information. Every moment of doubt is an invitation to master yourself more deeply. Confidence returns the moment you stop fighting yourself and start guiding yourself. The moment you stop demanding perfection and start embracing progress. The moment you stop interpreting losses as judgments and start seeing them as lessons. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are not falling behind. You are becoming, and becoming takes time, patience, awareness, gentleness with yourself, discipline rooted in clarity, not pressure. Remember this truth. The market does not test your confidence. It tests your ability to rebuild it. And you are capable of rebuilding as many times as it takes. You are capable of rising from any setback. You are capable of restoring your presence. You are capable of moving forward with wisdom instead of the fact that you are here listening to this, seeking growth, seeking understanding, seeking clarity, is proof of your resilience. Carry that with you. Let it remind you of who you are and who you are becoming. A losing streak may bend you, but it cannot break you unless you surrender your belief in yourself. And you are not here to surrender. You are here to evolve. You are here to endure, to learn, to rise, to rebuild again and again and again. This is the path of the trader, not a path of constant success, but a path of constant becoming. And you are still becoming, day by day, trade by trade, choice by choice. Your confidence will return. Not because the market gives it to you, but because you rebuild it through awareness, through process, through resilience, through presence. You are stronger than this moment. You are wiser than this setback. You are greater than this streak. And the trader you become on the other side of this will look back and say, that was the chapter where I found my strength. Let this be that chapter. If this message resonated with you, it's because you already know the truth. The real work of trading doesn't happen on the charts. It happens in your mind, in your awareness, in your ability to stay steady when the world inside you feels unstable. Every step you take toward understanding yourself is a step toward mastering the market, not through force, but through clarity, not through aggression, but through presence, not through perfection, but through growth. Remember this, you are not in competition with other traders. You are in competition with your limitations, the old patterns, the emotional habits, the reactions. You are slowly outgrowing. And every time you listen, reflect, and return to yourself with intention, you rise a little higher. You become a little stronger. You step a little closer to the trader you're meant to be. If you found value here, stay with this journey. There is more to learn, more to uncover, more to become. This is Mind Over Markets, and your evolution is just beginning.